party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is gonna be a one brand review / tutorial using e.l.f. Cosmetics. So let's just go ahead and get started. So I have brushes, I have some face products, I have like 1 or 2 eye products. So I mean, I almost have a full face, not quite, but I have quite a bit. So for eyeshadow, I have the new Rose Gold Sunset palette, and this one it's pretty muted. It's a little more dull. It would be good for every day, but for me, it's just not like pizzazzy enough. And I do have the Mad for Matte 2 palette from them, and I really do like it. I feel like the formula is amazing, especially for $10. So I don't really know what kind of look to create with this, and I haven't even used this yet. Like, I haven't even swatched it, so I want to do that today as well. But I'm just not very inspired by these shades, so we'll see what we come up with. So I'm going to use an eyeshadow primer from somewhere else just to make sure it works. I do have a concealer to try out from e.l.f. and I have been using it, but I don't want to take the chance of like creasing or just, you know, not working well with the eyeshadows. So I'm just going to use this Cara Beauty eye primer from Shop Hush. This is $8. So we are primed and ready to go. So now I'm going to go into my Line and Define eye tape. This stuff has become my tried and true. I'm obsessed with this. I almost can't do good makeup without this anymore. So these are $2 on the e.l.f. website. You can't find these anywhere else but their website, which sucks, but I got so many packs of these because I knew they would work so well, and I really, really do like them. They do come with 40 strips in here, so, I mean, it will last me for quite a while. Yes, I do reuse them because I'm a cheapskate, and I don't want to pay shipping. And someone the other day actually told me to cut these strips in half because they are pretty long, and it's not really necessary to have it go, like, all up and down your cheek area. So for my new one that I'll open up a different day, I am going to cut it in half and start kind of saving on my Line and Define eye tapes. So I'm just gonna go straight into it. So let's take this baby pink shade right here. It's a matte shade, and let's just use that as our transition shade. Okay, so this is actually blending out really nicely. It's building up well. It's not hard to blend. It's not dragging. There's no lines or unevenness or anything. So far so good. Okay, so I feel like I'm about to start creating something that I always create, which is a pink mauve cranberry kind of smoky eye. So I think I'm gonna kind of change up the direction a little bit and go into maybe these like brownie, like olive green tones in here. Let's swatch a few of these shades. Let's swatch some of the shimmers. So there's that olive green. It's not super metallic or anything. Here's the one right next to it, which is kind of like a deep gold. And then here is that coppery orange. Not too bad. And then here's the cranberry. Kind of lackluster, but I mean, they would work for someone that likes a more toned down, muted, kind of everyday look. And then let's do this one right here, which is a weird, trying to be a duochromatic kind of shade, but really not hitting it. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to backtrack and go into this matte tan shade right here. And let's just put this right on top of that pink, or maybe just a little bit below it. Yeah, let's not get rid of it completely. Let's just kind of work around it. And let's just put this in the outer V, the lower socket. You guys know the drill. And I am going to try to use as many e.l.f. brushes as possible too. But I really only have face brushes. I don't really have any eye brushes. But this shade is building up really, really well. No blending issues once again. And it doesn't start off too pigmented to where it's kind of scary to work with. So far so good. So let's see, which direction do I want to take? I don't know. Should we just make today one of those days where we just kind of throw everything on and it doesn't really matter how it looks? Probably. Let's try to go into this olive green right here. It's got a shimmer to it, but it's more of like a satin finish, like it's not super shimmery. So I think I'm gonna use this in my outer V and then put maybe that coppery orange shade on the lid. I really want to use the cranberry shades in here because these two down here, like these two matte ones, they're calling my name. They're the only two in the palette that really speak to me, but I feel like everything I do ends up being some kind of pink or red toned eyes. So we're trying to venture out. I guess I should reiterate once again, because I do it in every video, because I feel like it's necessary because people just don't get it. My personal preferences may be different than your personal preferences. What I look for in something may be completely different than what you look for. So, you know, you may look at this palette and be like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. What are you talking about? But for me, I do have pretty high standards. I am pretty picky. But I mean, for the drugstore, I can already tell you that this is a good palette. I mean, there's not many formulations out there at the drugstore that are this good. So respect to them for that. I just wish they had some more like pops of color, or just kind of like pizzazzed it up a little bit. But this shade is working out really nicely. Like I said, it is more of a satin finish. It does have a little bit of shimmer to it, but it is very fine. It is building up really nicely with a fluffy brush, which is really cool because most shimmers don't build up really well unless you're actually packing it on. So now I go into, I guess we'll try this coppery orange shade down here. I'm gonna see what it looks like dry first, and then, you know, we'll probably end up wetting it just for a little pop. Okay, so I don't know how well these shades are gonna mix together because it's just not really fusing well with that olive green. So it might be a bad pairing on my part. So let's just go ahead and wet it. Okay, so I think I am just gonna go ahead and bring it out to the edge. Just kind of open the eye a little bit. Yeah, not really digging this combination, so I'm trying to figure out what else to do. I wish there was a different kind of brown in here instead of just this like mid-toned tan kind of shade. I don't know. Let's just go back in with that tan shade real quick and touch up the crease a little bit because I'm not seeing it anymore. So I'm just gonna go very slowly, just gonna put it right back where we first placed it. So I just don't really know what to do at this point because, like I said, I do want to go into these two shades down here, but I just don't know how that would look with like an orange eyelid shade. At this point, probably can't mess up too much more though. So let's just go ahead and let's just try to deepen it up a little bit in the outer V with that dark eggplant plum. This will probably look like Chart, but that's okay. So let's just kind of put this in the outer V and then go on top of the olive green a little bit because it was looking good before I put on that coppery shade, but now it's just like, it's just out of place. It just doesn't need to be there. But this isn't showing up a whole lot, so I feel like the other olive green tone is just kind of overpowering it. Inner corner highlight, let's go into this light shimmery gold down here and just pop that right in there. And I do like to drag this up into the eyelid shade as well. Not super intense or anything. That's kind of the overall theme with these palettes. They're just very muted. Okay, we're done with the eyes. I'm giving up. Deuces. So I'm gonna go off camera and do my brows, liner, and mascara, and then I'll come back and show you some face products because that's where this video is really gonna take off. So I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so I'm back with liner, mascara, brows, and a brow bone highlight. So as far as the palette goes, like I want to be excited about this, but I'm just not. Like, I love the price point. I love how accessible it is. You can find it at Walmart. And, you know, as far as like a drugstore eyeshadow palette goes, it is very, very good. I love the formula of it. But this selection of shadows just doesn't really do anything for me. It's just very boring and it doesn't compete with what I already have in my collection. So for me, this is just a no-go, but it's not bad. It's just like, meh. So, moving on to some face products. So this is where I have a whole bundle of stuff. So like I said, I did go ahead and moisturize with my rose water spray. So I do have this e.l.f. obviously. This is the Prep and Hydrate Balm. So this is supposed to be, it's a clear cooling balm that helps hydrate and prep skin for makeup application, enriched with purified water, shea, and vitamin E to help nourish and moisturize. So a lot of people really do love this. There were a lot of really good reviews on the e.l.f. website. So it's just a stick, and people weren't really acting like they were using it as a primer. I don't have primer on though, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it. It feels very cooling. It's very, very thin feeling. Like it doesn't feel sticky or thick or heavy or anything. So if you have dry skin, I think this would be a cool product, especially if you like have certain dry areas, or if you have combination skin and you just have dry areas in certain places. I just don't know if you put this on like after your moisturizer and before your primer, or if you use this as a primer, or maybe use it after your primer. Like I'm not really sure of like how it's supposed to be used, but I haven't really used this a whole lot. I'm just gonna blend this out with my fingers. I haven't really used this a whole lot to be able to test to see if it makes me oily or whatnot. I do have oily combination skin. My skin's kind of normalized though. Like I don't typically get shiny or greasy, but the times that I have used this, I haven't had any adverse reactions to it, so that's a good thing. I just don't know how like significantly different my makeup looks when I use this. Look at that. It looks like I just splashed water on my face. So that is a really cool product. I have a couple really cool like little foundation mixer type products. So these are the mix to match adjusters, and they have a lightening one. They have different kind of tones. I got the yellow tone, and then I also got a bronze tone to kind of darken. So I got a yellow tone because there are so many foundations that I have that just aren't quite olive or golden undertoned enough, and I have like a more golden olive undertone. So yeah, most of them are a little bit more cool toned or peachy or pink, and they just don't work for me. So I thought that would be a really cool product, and these are very little. And I haven't really used the bronzer one, but I did use the yellow one the other day, and it seems to be very, very opaque. Like a little bit seems to go a very, very long way. And then I don't really have a new foundation or anything, but I figured I'd break back out the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation. This used to be my all-time favorite go-to foundation, and haven't really gravitated towards it a whole lot because the colors just don't match me very well. So I figured we could kind of play around with these with the mixing drops. And I also had this new maximum coverage concealer. I have the dewy setting mist. I have a couple of brushes to talk about. I have the baked highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. This is so old, and I did start using it the other day when I was rediscovering tossed aside makeup. I love that video. It's e.l.f., so we're going to talk about it. And then I also have the makeup lock and seal drops. So I'm very excited to share these with you and kind of break these back out. I used to use these all the time back in high school. Couldn't find them anywhere. I couldn't find them in stores. Never really placed a lot of e.l.f. orders, and when I did, just didn't really think about it. So excited to bring that bad boy back out. So let's see. I might try these mixing drops because I'm really excited about these. I might try these with several different things and just kind of play around with this. So let's first start off with the porcelain shade. So this is way too light for me, and it's not too far off. Like when I swatch it, it doesn't look too bad. Let's try to darken it first. I'm just going to use one drop of the bronzer, and let me show you what it looks like. So there's the bronzer shade right there by itself, and then let's do the yellow. This is like a straight up mustard yellow. Like it is so vivid. So yeah, there's the bronzer and the yellow adjustment drops. So let's try to mix in the bronzer to see how it does. Maybe darkened it a little bit. Let's do one more drop. I don't want to go too overboard with it. Okay, that one definitely did do something. Let's do it side by side over here. Okay, so yeah, very subtle, but I feel like that definitely did work. We're going to keep playing. Let's take a really pale foundation. I can't wear this one even in the wintertime because it's so pale. This is the Avon True Color Flawless Liquid Foundation. Oh, so pinky, so peachy, and so extremely pale. So let's try I'm just going to do one dot. Let's try the golden one first. So I'm just going to show you in the back of my hand how it mixes. It mixes in really well. So that definitely did change. Did I swatch it? I didn't swatch it. Crap, sorry. That definitely did change the undertone of it. Still a little more peachy, so let's just do one more little tap. So look at that. See how pigmented it is? Ooh, that's so cool. It's actually working. That's awesome. Now I can wear foundations that I couldn't normally wear otherwise. So, let's do a little mixy little chemist over here. Let's do one drop of the bronzer one now. So here's where we're at. And I don't remember how many tones they had. I do think they had several ones to choose. Like they had at least like 3 or 4. But let's see, that didn't change it up a whole lot. It seems like the golden one's a little bit more pigmented. Let's just do one more drop. Mix that in. So I'm not changing it up too much, but I feel like that did make it almost a perfect match for me. So let's just go right next door. Yeah, it didn't really darken it too much. So there might be an inconsistency in like the formulas because of the shade. So yeah, the yellow one is definitely a yes for me. So in light of this being an e.l.f. video, let's just go ahead and use the acne fighting foundation and just kind of reignite my love for it. So I'm going to use the shade Porcelain, and I am going to use the golden drops, and I probably don't have, I don't have a whole lot of this left. Okay, once again, this foundation is so amazing. It's only $6. You can find some of the shades at Walmart, and it's just so pretty and just airbrush and just moussey looking on the skin. It's very long wearing. You can get full coverage out of it. Now, I will say, I feel like it didn't apply as evenly or it didn't build up as nicely with this moisturizing balm underneath. So if you guys have this, let me know how you use it. Do you use it as a primer? Do you use it as a moisturizer, or just like a touch-up kind of thing, like where you just kind of put this in areas where you're extra dry? Let me know, because I just didn't feel like it really like slid on as well as it usually does, if that makes any sense. But it could be old too, like it could be expired, we don't know. So now moving on to the concealer. So this is one that I've been testing out for a little while, and it's okay. Again, the shade is off, so we are going to test that golden kind of thing again. So here's what it looks like. This is in the shade, it's definitely the lightest shade. I think it's called Ivory or something like that. I don't know why they don't have shade names on the packaging, but this is an okay formula. It's not my favorite in the world, but it's definitely not the worst either. And the other day when I used it, it didn't seem to like crease or anything, so it seems like it's pretty long wearing. I used too much golden. I'm gonna go in once again with my sponge and just blend this out. I'm gonna spray my sponge a little bit because I feel like it's just not doing it for me right now, so I'm using the dewy one. But as far as the coverage goes, it does seem to be pretty full coverage. It does seem to be pretty buildable. It doesn't start off like too like Tarte Shape Tapey right off the bat, but you can build it up. But yeah, it blends out really nicely, looks really smooth. I don't really know how it sets yet because usually I just go straight into a powder. So we are going to kind of examine how it sets on its own. But yeah, definitely not a bad concealer. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not extraordinary. But as far as that setting spray goes, I'm still testing that one out as well. Sometimes it can take me weeks to figure out what I think about a setting spray. It's just one of those things where it's like maybe it's working because of the setting spray. Maybe everything's working because of the foundation just being good. So it's kind of hard to tell what's keeping everything on, what's keeping everything looking good, and all that jazz. So yeah. Very, very pretty. Okay guys, so I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes now, and as you can see, the foundation hasn't really set on its own, and normally it does set to be a little bit more mattified, so the moisturizing balm underneath is definitely doing something. And as far as the concealer goes, no creasing, haven't really touched it or anything, like just been sitting here watching videos and stuff. I feel like this is one of those concealers that it will grow on me. It's just not amazing right off the bat, like you just have to kind of warm up to it, but I feel like it does have a lot of potential. So I have the e.l.f. blush brush, and I really like this one for under eye setting powder. I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes with this brush, and also like in between my eyebrows, just kind of the smaller areas of my face. And I'm gonna go in with another brush in just a second for the rest of my face. Okay, so my all-time favorite powder brush, like for setting my entire face, is it's just called a powder brush. So it's just like a flat top kabuki style brush. I've been using this for years. I've actually gone through probably like 4 or 5 of these in the past 10 or 12 years. I love this because it just really presses it in and it doesn't skip a beat. Like it doesn't miss any areas on your face. So I just kind of swirl it in there, tap off the excess, and just pat away. And where it is a bit larger, it does cover a good amount of area. For blush brushes, I have a couple different ones. So I actually got these as a set on the e.l.f. website. I think I got them for like $10 for 2 of them, which is a really good deal. So I have the pointed powder brush. This is what I've been using for blush, and it's so good. You could use this for so many different things. So you could use it for bronzer, for contouring, for setting powder. It's just such a universal brush. That's one thing I really like about e.l.f. Their brushes are very versatile. You could use them for multiple different purposes. And then I also have the Flawless Face Brush, and this one I haven't really figured out my favorite use for because it is, you know, like I said, very universal, and it could be used for setting powder, again, blush, bronzer, whatever. So I don't really know what I'm gonna use this one for, but we'll find something. What I like about this pointed powder brush is that it just applies the perfect amount without going overboard. You guys know I go ham a lot in my life, and it just blends it out so beautifully. So now I have, let's see, I have the highlighter left, and also I'm going to test out the Makeup Lock and Seal. Like I said, the Makeup Lock and Seal is something I used forever ago. It's only like $4. So you get these little drops. You also get a little brush to apply it with, which is just a flat brush. I don't really know why they would choose this to go with this, but it also comes with a little bowl, like a little cup, and I can't find the cup. So we're just gonna use the back of my hand, I guess. So I'm gonna test out the Flower Beauty. I don't have an e.l.f. eyeliner. This is the That's So Kohl eyeliner in the shade, okay, Espresso. So this is just a dark brown. I don't know how this wears, so on one side I'm gonna apply it on its own. On the other side, I'm gonna set it with the e.l.f. Makeup Lock and Seal. So I am gonna give you guys a wear test in the description box. Because like I said, I don't know how this wears, and I haven't used a Makeup Lock and Seal in years, so I don't know if they've changed the formula. I don't know if it still works the same. But I used to use this to set my waterline eyeliner, and it would seriously improve everything. Like, it would improve the wear of every liner that I used. It would keep it locked in place all day long, and without it, my eyes are pretty watery, and I have a really hard time keeping anything in the waterline. It just goes right here. Like right here in the outer corner and right here in the inner corner. That's where anything in the waterline ends up. And I know you can mix other things in with this. Like, I know you can mix it with your foundation. It's supposed to help the longevity of your foundation. I've heard people say they mix it in with their lipstick, or they just kind of pat it on their lips after they have their lipstick and stuff on. It's supposed to help with that. So let's go in on the right side with the e.l.f. stuff. So it's just a clear liquid. It's very watery. I'm going to use a little brush that comes with it, which is fine, no big deal, and just stamp this in place. Now it does have a slight like tingly feeling at first, but it never really burns or anything. If you have super sensitive eyes, it might burn, but I've never had a problem with it, and my eyes are pretty sensitive. So I do prefer a smaller brush with this, though, I will say that. So let's just go ahead and do the Moonlight Pearls highlighter. This is one of the biggest drugstore highlighters out there. Now, I will say I didn't like it for the longest time because it seemed really dry. I couldn't get any pigmentation or any kind of translation or anything. So the other day when I actually broke this bad boy back out, because I stored it away in my forgotten about bin for so long, but I actually took a tissue and just wiped a lot of the surface down, and it is so much better. And I've heard people say that for a really long time, that you need to do that for it to work really well, but I was just like, you know what, I shouldn't have to do that. But for like $3, I think it's like $3 or $6, it's not a big deal, but it's a really pretty, just simple white champagne tone. A lot of people used to compare this to the Mary Luminizer from the Balm, and this actually works really well after you've applied your setting spray. Like when it's wet, it looks a lot better in my opinion. But you can get a pretty intense highlight with this. Like this is pretty dang glowy. Now I will say it is fairly frosty, so it can tend to enhance texture and blemishes and stuff like that on your face. So I kind of do like to apply my setting spray first. I just want to show you guys what it looked like on its own. But yeah, you can see right here I applied it on top of a blemish, and it's like, hello, I'm here, in case you didn't see me. But very pretty formula once you get the top surface off. So let's go into that blush brush I use and just kind of blend below that. I've really been trying to tone down my highlight lately because I'm just not really digging it anymore. I'm just kind of over it. But I also don't know when to stop, so I'm kind of on that fine line of trying to change but not really knowing how. Okay, so for lips, I don't have an e.l.f. product, but I figure we, just complete the look. I don't have mascara on the lower lashes. Whatever, but I just figured we go ahead and complete the look and give you a more fall makeup look kind of thing. And this is the Wet n Wild matte liquid lipstick. This is in the shade Behind the Bleachers. This is a new shade, and I saw it. I don't even like liquid lipsticks, but it's so pretty and it's so up my alley, so I figured it's affordable. Let's just throw it in here. Ugh, fall. That is beautiful. Okay, so moving on to the setting spray. I just saw my whole life flash before my eyes. Okay, so moving on to the setting spray, here's what it looks like when you spray it. It is pretty powerful. It does pack a punch, but the mist is actually pretty fine. So let's just go ahead and, it does smell like coconuts. I mean, it kind of smells like I can't talk. Once I have liquid lipstick on and it dries my lips out, there's no more speaking from there. So, oh, kind of punchy. This kind of reminds me of the Too Faced Hangover setting spray, like the smell of it and stuff. Am I wrong? Does it not smell like coconuts? I'm not really sure. So let's just let this dry, see what it does. It did definitely help everything kind of unify and melt. And I mean, it made my skin more dewy. It definitely did do something. So still figuring that out, but I will give you guys updates in the description box below. So stay tuned. Just go ahead and go check down there. I don't know when this video will be posted, but I will have some kind of update down there. But I'm overall pretty dang impressed. The eye look, not too fond of, but overall I really like everything else. Thank you all so much for watching. Give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and also comment below #partypeople when you do that. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Mwah.